All right, so here we go. We had a Japan purchase of 3 fighters and a sub, basically stacked C-Zone 60. Did take Philippines back, which is good. That's one less transport I have to worry about, as I can kill him. And we're going to still save Borneo for, hopefully for the U.S. on U.S. 4, because we're on 3, so we'll go 3 here, 4 here on U.S.'s turn. And then U.S. will grab that on 5, and then hopefully we'll grab a couple spots on the mainland to be able to get a factory on before Germany starts pouring. So that's the plan. Now the trick, like I said, is we're very close to him being able to pull a sea lion off here. So we are going to drop a carrier on the east coast, since UK's taken some of the money. Like I said, US is going to have to help support the Atlantic, just like the UK is going to have to help support down here some. So yeah. So we're going to have 2 split fleets, which is going to be difficult when it gets to the late game. So we're going to have a combined UK-US fleet in the Atlantic. We're going to have a combined UK-US fleet in the Pacific. And that gets rough in the late game when Germany has a bunch of bombers and they can go here or here, and Japan has a bunch of fighters. And so that makes untangling in the Pacific especially difficult. If Japan eventually gets a bunch of bombers and they can fly them over into the middle, and then it creates untangling Atlantic, and they're difficult. So not ideal. So we got to get a convincing win before then, is what that's saying. So anyways, that's what they bought. Nothing really extraordinary there. 48. Oh, that was my transport, of course. Yeah, that's fine. Everything else was just moving inland. So what I'm looking at buying is 1 fighter, 1 carrier, 1 transport, and 1 sub. We're going to put a transport over here too. We're going to start getting some units, because he's going to start making a breakthrough here. So we're going to start getting some units into South Africa as well as getting a carrier fighter here. We'll drop a sub over here just to help some pressure continue to build over here. But we're going to give a break of building here for a turn. Which might mean we need to build more fighters and then carrier over here. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we should be able to stack C-Zone 48 between US and UK and C-Zone 44. So that's our play. I do want to go ahead and take this out, because that takes this bomber out of the picture. This bomber's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I don't take it out, it can land there. So I need to take 1 less attacker out of these sea zones. I can't think of anything changing my plan, but just in case, we'll use a fighter in case I decided for some reason I need to do something different. I do not see it. Use our U.S. last infantry effectively here. Yeah, just seeing what we want to do with these guys. If I want to go ahead and get them going this way. But we're going to go 3, 4, and take this 5. We would be going 3, 4, 5 there as well. So I think we're going to retreat him back and have him head back for some more units to bring to Africa. We're going to set up a two transport truck to Africa. Oh, I forgot I was bringing the cruiser down here. I could have brought my cruiser into this. Not needed. Thankfully, no hit back. Good deal. Bah. Not what I was hoping for there. I at least wanted a hit. Do need to make sure that we are in the fighter before carrier. Good deal. Just because I don't know which one it'll take, we're going to switch them to make sure that we don't goof that up. Putting these two, they can't hit them, but we can block C-Zone 6. You know what? Because I don't know what we'll end up deciding between these units. If he comes here, we may need to defend. I think we're going to move them up that way. Maybe just one. So I know this is kind of weird, but what I'm thinking about is this transport can come back. I'd like to pick him up in C-Zone 10 if possible. He'll probably move his bomber over, and that may not be possible, in which case we'll pick him up here. And we got our transport landing here that I want to grab the 2 infantry with, ideally to start with. But I also wanted the ability to bring the AA over here in case he goes to Alaska. Whereas the AA up here, I can't really do anything with. But the AA up here, I could use this guy coming up to grab the AA and infantry and leave another infantry for dealing with any Japan shenanigans. A lot of thinking, a lot of overthinking, to be perfectly honest. Just stacking up these guys. I do want to prevent that if possible. Obviously, the Russians are much more adept than the Americans and Kazakh. It's their home territory. They're more likely to fight for it better. Again, Corelli is just important because of the timing, pacing. There we go. Dang it. Really could have used the money, though. There we go. Again, I didn't do a whole double check on stacking caucuses. I can't imagine. You have 2, 27, 33, 34 you could put in there. We got 31, 35, 39, 41. We would be fine. So yeah, we're still keeping that dead zoned. You know, he can bring in 4, 8, 12 more units. We're going to be bringing in 8 more units. We still got pretty solid here. So I'm feeling pretty good here. We're going to see if he uses that money he saved up for a massive drop, though. Does he want to risk against the 2 shots here, blockers? I could fly this fighter in now as well to UK there. So if he doesn't do this turn, next turn I'm going to be getting transport and range, fighters, carriers. You know, we're going to be putting a lot more in range next turn. So, and UK, we're going to build defensively in UK. So this is really his shot. Like I said, he did it with 55, which is, you know, normally you're thinking a carrier drop, so that takes him down to 41, which is a weird number to have. But he did very specific 7 and 3 build. I'm a little confused. I'm going to be curious to see what his buy is this turn. It's like he was saving for something specific, but I'm not sure what exactly that was. So I'm worried I'm missing something here. All right. So this needs to be a very fast turn because it's way past my bedtime. I got to work in the morning, but I got to go so I don't time out. But I did want to point out another game just wrapped up. So I've hit my 5 wins, got my initial placement into gold. I did 3 wins, so far 3 wins with the 3 Art 2 tank build, 2 wins with the West Russia Jam, and then this is my 3rd West Russia Jam that we've been watching on the Black Hatter game. So if we can pull this one off, we'll be 3-0 in both variations. So the quick story is Germany built tanks, not sea lion. So with us being able to move the destroyers in, move this carrier in, build a UK fleet this turn, Sea Lion hopefully should be off the table for quite some time at this point. So now we just got to go out and win this game, which is a far from said and done, because Germany with these tanks, what does that mean? One, I'm just barely going to have holding West Russia odds for G5, so we'll hold this against G5, but these tanks are going to come on up, plus these 10, plus probably 2 of these 4 are all going to move on up, and we're just going to have 8 infantry moving into defense, and we can move 2 bombers in, right? So we're not really going to have much defense. We're not going to be able to hold this for G6. He's going to get West Russia G6. But hey, you know, the standard advanced axis progression is G5 West Russia. So we got one turn on them at least. So they're not getting there until G6. But the other thing, that the fact that he builds tanks, so that's, to me, that's always an alert that they're planning a timing, especially in KJS, and we're talking about tanks in Germany. Because just flat out, building infantry and artillery are better buys when it comes to attack power in the final battle. So if you can build infantry and artillery to get to the final battle in time, it's better to build those right now. So he's saying they're not building infantry artillery on G4 are not going to get to the final battle of Moscow in time, which would have been G4, G5, G6, G7, G8. So that tells me he's trying for a better than G8 timing, which would be G7. And considering we're holding him to West Russia on G6 now, again, he builds more tanks, and he's going to have those coming into G7. So I need to plan to get as many UK and US fighters to Moscow to defend G7 and get us to G8. So to defend G7, it means UK 6, they got to be moving into Moscow, which means UK 5 next turn, we need to have fighters in India or Iceland. So, or on a fleet in Season 6 or 7, I should say, because we're going to build a fleet. We're going to build a carrier up here. So on UK 5, we could build fighters that could then make it into Moscow. That means these fighters, we can go to Season 48 this turn, and next turn get what we can back into India to get back to here, or we can move our fleet to Season 61, which would be really nice if we could move the whole fleet to Season 61 and still hold our islands. That'll depend a lot on what Japan does. Most likely we're going to have to pull back while UK gets its factory up and running. And then, we'll see what we can spare on the fighters or not. That's also because we also got 5 Germany units that we got to kill at some point. So we got to take care of those at some point too, before they spread too far. Now, the interesting thing here, this is at a point, we're going to be reaching a point where U.S. is getting into, or the Allies are getting into the Philippines. And after this round, the Allies are going to have 7 victory cities and will be in range of Shanghai by a U.S. transport. And we're going to be putting a U.S. transport in C-Zone 10. This guy is going to be going up to 10. These infantry coming over. These infantry being grabbed by this guy coming here. So we're going to have a U.S. threatening France, we're going to have a U.S. threatening Italy, and we're going to be building a U.K. transport, and he's been trading Karelia. So we got 3 possible European victory cities we can take after Germany's turn that Japan can't do anything about other than this fighter and bomber might move closer, but they're probably going to want to stay in range of the Pacific battle. So we may have 3 cities here that would jump us to 9. So if we can hold on to the Philippines or Shanghai, we could potentially get a victory city in round 5 if Blackadder's not careful. Now, Blackadder is a platinum player, I believe. So I don't expect that to happen, but we're going to keep an eye out for it for certain. So, okay. So we're going to build some infantry. We need to get some ground troops going up here because eventually Germany's going to be coming down here. Russia's going to be coming, and we're going to be pumping units in. Eventually we're going to have to build a factory here probably when India is going to fall, because I do think India probably may fall at some point. So anyways, so we're going to do that. But we're also going to build a transport, destroyer, and aircraft carrier that we're going to be dropping in here. He moved all his planes up into Ukraine here, so the only plane we got to worry about is a bomber and a sub. And these 2 destroyers can come to 6 or 8. So we're going to have these 2 destroyers, this destroyer and a carrier. So we're going to have 3 destroyers and a carrier to defend against a sub and a bomber. Meanwhile, this carrier is going to come down here with a fighter to defend against a bomber. So yeah, that's our UK build. I really want Thailand to go to US, so we're going to continue to move here, pull some of these guys back. I haven't decided what I'm going to do here yet. I'm still deciding on there, but we are going to go ahead and let UK take this guy. The question here, what I'm debating is hitting these 2 guys with infantry and tank and bomber, or just hitting this one and blitzing the tank through to help defend West Russia. I'm going to pull this up. So yeah, with no additional, and I could take a bomber up there if I really need to, but if Russia needs to put 1 infantry into here, if we don't clear it, then this is what we're looking at for Germany's battle. It's negative for them, negative IPC value. They would only have, they'd be losing some of their planes. They'd have a few planes still surviving. But, essentially all of what I got would be wiped out. I would have what I build sitting there, and he'd have these 14, 23 ground coming at me, and I would only have one build of Russia. We'll get a second build before they get into range, but it's going to get awfully tight. It'll make Moscow look very not pretty. It'd be gutsy for him to do that. But this is what I want to do. And then we'd have these two guys. He's got 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 that could hit here. So we probably don't want to match him. Let him move in. I'd be willing to do an infantry and 2 bombers against 2 guys. But he'll have 3 guys. 1, 2, 3. And it's going to get tight. But we're going to be taking out the northern part. We're going to be landing here, so either he goes back or we just trade temporarily until my next round comes. So I'm going to give it up to Blackadder. We're going to let Blackadder see if he wants to try his luck on West Russia or not. We're going to go this route. Five. Nice. Six. Give me a 6. Give me a 6. I'll take a 5. Good. So Russia does not have to use an infantry there. That makes West Russia a little bit safer. Very good. 5. We got 5, just like I asked for. And yes, I'm aware UK taking islands isn't the best scenario, but we're trying it. We're gonna leave these 2 for US, and hopefully US one of these, and we're gonna have a fleet landing over here now. So again, we're mixing UK and US fleets. We're gonna see if that hurts us later on in the game. Again, we had a turn of no fleet build here other than a sub, so Jay's gonna be able to catch up in the game with his Pacific fleet to a degree, so be curious. Oh, wait. I want to put 2 here in case he goes there. As well as for trading here. I could put all 3. We'd have... Even if he landed, he's got 4. You know what? Even if he landed all 4 right here, which I don't think he would do, we'd still have enough 3 infantry we're building and all this air to crush them. So we're going to put them all back there. So do we want to put them at 6, 7, or 8? I think I'm going to go with 8 so that we could come down here to South Africa if we need to. If I go 6, it pins his sub in there, but I mean, really, his sub could go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. He's, you know, he's pinned anyways. So I think we're going to drop them here so that we can come down to Africa, or we can go up this way, or we can go in. So there we go. Fleet drop. These 2 destroyers will join. These guys will come in here. We're going to start taking some territory. Pacific is falling, not necessarily the way we want it to, but we are still hopefully 4 rounds before Moscow falls, so that hopefully gives us time to get everything we need set up here. All right, so Japan did a fighter, a complex, and some infantry to shore up Tokyo, and then went to Alaska. This makes interesting choices, interesting plays. I was checking if I buy 3 fighters in India, then I can dead zone 60 and 62, presuming when we look at this, he's got 2 carriers of 3 fighters. He's got 4 more fighters altogether, so he has 7 fighters. He's got 38 IPC to spend next time, which 2 carriers and a fighter would be 38, and that would land him 4 carriers and 8 fighters that he could put there, and that's the best defense he could do. Taking all of this, moving this over, and so forth and so forth. It looks like that we would be able to softly dead zone 62. Softly by, we could probably kill it, but it's going to be at negative value for us. But of course, his other option is to bounce down the United States to try to go through the Panama to come up in here in the Atlantic, and then with the Japan or Germany put pressure on UK and DC. So I can't drop anything in 56, and I don't need to drop anything in 11 this turn per se. We do need to be ready to have carrier or transports and carrier and destroyers to jump into 18 if he comes down to 56 next turn. The other thing that this does, it does kind of limit the fact that he could take Pearl Harbor, means that whole Victory City thing is very unlikely. But we're just going to continue playing forward anyways. So I'm looking at 2 infantry, 2 tanks, and 2 fighters. Again, my infantries and tanks, eventually my transports are going to be shucking U.S. over into Europe and Africa, so they'll get utilized. I'm going to leave these 2 infantry, so that'll give me 2 infantry, 2 tanks, and 2 fighters that can threaten Alaska. We're going to move this tank and this AA gun into there. We're going to move this AA gun over, so we'll have here stacked, we'll have here stacked. We'll be threatening Alaska, so he either goes back, or he comes down to Pearl, or he keeps the troops on and he comes on down the chain somewhere this direction. So I imagine he comes back. That's my expectation. So we're going to plan on that. We're going to actually go to 61 and 47, and then with maybe pushing the cruiser destroyer up, which he can use air to hit, but I'm not going to have any transports with it, so it's just risk for him. So here we go. I don't know that we had any actual attacks to do, though. Oh, yes, we did. Can't forget this. His bomber can hit here, 1, 2, 3, so I can't just send everything up to 48 like I'd like to. But the carrier and the 2 fighters by themselves should be enough to hold that. The interesting thing here is the U.S. bomber. I'm trying to figure out where we want to put it. I want it to be able to reach 62 still. I'm thinking the UK transport. Like I said, we're going to head to C zone 61, so we're going to hit here and potentially take a fighter as a loss if we absolutely have to. But if we take the territory here, he can't counter because he's got nothing there. The transport can't make it down. If we put the bomber here, we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or if we put it in India, we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, land back here, which we will take on UK 5, and he can't take back. So I think we're just going to move the bomber down here with our 2 guys here to help pressure the whole Egypt area. I'm liking that, I think. I don't necessarily need him to help dead zone because we're going to bring our destroyers down. So we'll have 2 destroyers and a fighter. We'll have this destroyer carrier and the Russian 2 fighters to hold this Sea Lion attempt out. Oh yes, this is the other attack. See, this is why I got to pay attention to myself. 4, 3, 1, 2. We're building 2. I think we're just going to take the 1 and the 1 coming up to here. Because I needed... Oh, wait, no, we can do 2, right? We can move 1 over, 1. Yeah, no, I want 2 here. That's what I thought. Because I don't want him to do a cheap bomber hit on here. And we'll start creeping up this way. Always like to see, is there anything with the bomber we really want to hit? Unfortunately, we can't hit Egypt and get to India. Otherwise, I would try the tank bomber shot there. Nothing else that I'm really willing to risk the fighter or bomber for that matter, because I got important things for this bomber. So I think we end it there. Bah humbug.
Bah humbug.
They got to hit back on us, so now we got to figure out what we want to. No, we want him to take those guys. You to come on over. So the nice thing about going to C Zone 61 is we can always fly our fighters from here into Moscow. He said they're going to be exposed, that he can hit them if he wants to, but hopefully we take out at least 1 air with the 2 of them. And I'm willing to risk that so that they can pressure through 61 to 62. before carrier is good.
This tune is by Miley. Bridget, since you're behind, you can open the bidding. The maximum bid is 10 minutes. Jason, I can name that tune in 5 notes.
Bridget, go ahead and name that tune.
Coming right to you for $5,000. Here are your 5 notes. Name that tune.
All right, there we go.
Can't stop. That is incorrect. That means Jason.
It's a party.
That is also incorrect.
I think that's the only attack we're going to do with Russia.
La da dee da dee. This tune is by Miley. Bridget, since you're
Come on. 2 hits. There we go. There we go. Much better that time. And there we go. He's only got the 2 and the 1 fighter, so they should be okay versus Japan for this turn. We are eating up Japan's income at least to a degree, even though they are getting some points this direction. And then next turn on Russia 6, we're going to have to pull out. He's going to have enough to push us there. So we're going to be pulling out on Russia 6, and then we'll look at going back against these guys. There we go. That's the end of the turn. All right, so here we go. Getting interesting. So Germany built 6 more tanks, 3 infantry, 1 artillery. So he's continuing his push. I have a G6, G7 as a possibility. I'm pretty sure I can stack Caucasus if UK can take it. So we're going to focus on that. And then we're going to start getting our fighter wheel set up. So we got fighter wheel will be set up from 61, fighter wheel set up from 6, that we're going to be pumping fighters into Moscow as needed. Because remember, we talked about if we're looking at a G7 timing, then the fighters need to be in range on UK 5 so that UK 6 they can fly in. So we're going to take a look at that. So I'm going to do something really pretty unexpected here, and we're going to need all the fighters in range of Moscow we can get. So it's going to look a little strange because I'm not going to take France. I'm not going to take the free 6-pointer here. And that just, it feels strange, right? I could get these 2 victory cities, by the way, so that would be 8 and 9. And we'll be taking that 10. But obviously, if we go in here, that means we're sacrificing the transport. And he'll know something is up. And so he'll easily be able to take Pearl then to save the victory city loss. And I've got no counter on it. It means he wouldn't be coming back in here, which he's going to be able to come back to C-Zone 60, 62 if he really wants to. I'm hoping he'll choose not to, but I can't really prevent it. The odds won't be great. Plus, the fighters I have will be wanting to be sending back to Moscow, but hopefully we'll be able to be getting things set up so that we can retreat back into our little corner and then come back after the fleet in the later rounds. So we got the islands set up early, but it's not. This game is not over yet by any means. We're still not in a great position because KJFs always are in a tough position. So anyway, so we got 36 IPC, so we're going to get 3 fighters and 2 infantry going. So we're going to grab here. We'll let US. Actually, I'll probably end up grabbing it with him and not even not sacrifice a transport and just bring this transport on down this way and start getting some units going that direction. And we're going to do this instead because I really want the UK to take this so that Germany can't sit into here on G6. I may end up throwing that last infantry in there regardless. Well, if he gets a hit back and I take it, I might throw that second infantry because I don't want the Japan just to take it right back. But I don't know that he'd want to send his fighter and have it land here, or if I'm going to have some guys that can counter there. So I don't, and then we'll have Russia. So I don't think he'll do that. So I think we'll be okay. This is kind of big. I don't want to hit back here. If I really wanted to confirm at least making it a threat of me attacking 60-62, then I would take Formosa, because the idea is my landing pads for my bombers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they got to be able to land on one of these. If I take Yunnan here, then that'll be the landing spot, and they can't do anything about it. They can't retake it. Formosa would be a guaranteed take. But since my dead zone is going to be very weak, and he can go ahead and drop back here if he wants, I'm going to go ahead and just kill this guy so that we preserve Burma, and then maybe we get that guy there. I am going to be letting him live, unfortunately. Yeah, I think that's our attacks for this turn. One last thing I want to check. Yeah, as I'm thinking about it, I think we're just going to do this just to make sure. Kill it quickly and easily. Make sure we get it. Yeah. And I think instead of going here, we're going to go ahead and go here. Reason being, because maybe I don't even take US into here. Maybe we just work on our shucking and don't worry about the 2 extra points. And the taking Norway is important because as my fighters move here, 1, 2, 3, 4, for helping prevent any sea lion builds. Now I'm going into here, so that's not too critical. But this is also a gather that we're going to get, we're going to keep. And he's prepped himself to retake it if I take it. So I think I like going here. I'm good with UK taking it because UK is going to be fighting for income as Africa and the Mideast and India becomes battlegrounds. So I think I kind of like that here. So yeah, I think I'm going to go this route, and that'll let me grab a little bit of income and let US stay out of getting into the mix, because he's going to have odds on this battle, because I am going to have to move my US fleet into there, destroyers and carrier, and 1 fighter into there, and he'll have odds, so I don't want to put 2 transports in there, I think. So we're going to do that. And here we go. No hitbacks, no hitbacks, no hitbacks. We're going for a 4 on defense. 4 on defense. Big 4. A 6 will work too. All right. So that gives us a landing zone. That's good. Nice clean kill here. More infantries living, the better I am, the happier I am. All right, there's a good clean. Ah, even better. Nice. I'm moving the infantry AA here, so if we do use this as a landing ground, we can move infantry AA in there from any Japan air that could be attacking it. You want to go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we'll have 2 guys there. 2. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that, I think. Gonna move the carrier, the destroyer on into here. Move him for defense over there. Move him for blocking, blitzing. I didn't check because he could probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, we're good. So we'll block the blitz there. Yep, that'll be our turn. Drop those 2 there. Drop these guys down here. Key here is now these 3 fighters and these 6 fighters are all in range of Moscow and Caucasus. So we can work on stacking these guys as we filter in. Now Japan fleet moving back to 6260, unfortunately will be annoying. I'm hoping he goes this way to threaten Atlantic, because then we'll be able to counter it, build and counter and whatnot. So all right, we'll see what he does. Okay, so Japan made a nice move here, which it's so-so in the end for both of us. I expected him to come back to 60-62 because I didn't build 3 planes here like I really wanted to, because I really wanted to get this Norway set up. It means that I knew he was going to be able to come back to 60-62. He took what was probably the smart shot and just took all the air to wipe these guys. I did get 1 hit back, so I did get 1 fighter back for the cruiser destroyer that he got there. So he got +1 on that exchange. But it also meant he was not building a carrier fighter. He just built 1 carrier, not 2 carriers, in a fighter that he could have had 4 carriers, 8 fighters, which scares me a little bit more. I plan on giving him opportunity here. I did forget to check one thing here. So yeah, this is going to get very, very tight because I'm going to have to give ground. He's going to be able to most likely move into 48, and then from 48, he's going to be pressuring my new Borneo factory, and then I'm going to be sitting in here. So we're going to have some tough time if we're going to hold the G7 timing. So it may turn out that I decide to let him have G7 and then use my Russians coming this direction instead of going back through China. I don't know. The timing's it's awkward because of the UK flip here a little bit. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going with the timing. So build-wise here, anyways, I am going to get my industry up and going to build a couple fighters for the coast. I don't need any more ground troops. We got enough over here right now. And I don't really need to build... I got 7 IPC left over. I don't need to really build a... another transport, because I put it over here, it's killed. I put it over here, I've already got 2 over here, and I got to focus on reestablishing the Pacific. So I'm going to save it. When I get this factory, I might need to build another carrier and 2 fighters, and I don't even know what will I have. I'll have 42 plus 7, 49. And a cruiser, how about that? I don't know. We'll need to buy, probably fairly expensively, to come back and stack this sea zone if he's sitting in 48 like I kind of expect him to be. So we'll see. Lots of things to play out here. Oh, I forgot I'll have that money too. And that money. And let's see here. I think I want to go ahead and do this. Let's see, so he'll have 6 fighters and a bomber coming after me. We will have 2 carriers, 2 destroyers, 3 fighters. Yeah, I'm going to take that 50-50 a shot with a 3 fighter bit there, I think. I want this fighter coming down, because I do need 4 fighters in here. Anything fun to do with him? I really need him staying down in this range. I don't want to lose him. That's one of the big things. I could land him up here, but I need him down here to help pressure these guys. I believe that's all my attacks I want to attempt. Do I need to attack? Yeah, we're not going to do that. Come on, get the hit, get it over with. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, shoot. I forgot to take Thailand. That was my plan. Ah, that's gonna hurt. That one's gonna hurt. Fraggle Rock. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Stupid, stupid, stupid. You know what? I don't even want to land him. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, because he could come down. He could air snipe him with a bomber, and then I won't even get Thailand for U.S. next turn. So just make sure the transports keep him on the transport because we're gonna need him. All right, let's double check this. Yeah, Thailand's a huge bummer. That was dumb. I may end up having to take it with the UK and just really let this be a whole UK flip thing and push the US heavy over here. Man, what a dumb move. All right, I should have got my coffee in me before going. So we've got 14. We're going to get this as 16. Going to save 2. That'll give me 6 infantry, max builds possible there. You're going to see I'm going to leave this open. That at first will look bad because there's 4 Japan guys I could hit there, but I'm going to be flying fighters, UK fighters in there, so it's not that big of a deal. And he'll be able to go in, so it's not that big. We're actually going to leave Karelia alone in order to stack Caucasus. Therefore, we need one guy to stay back. One guy stay back. All right, bad turn. Oh well, let's see if we can recover still. Okay, so we are heading into UK 6 now. Things are starting to heat up a bit. Germany bought 6 tanks, 2 infantry and artillery, pushed into West Russia as was to be expected. Stacked Karelia, understandable. Position just fighters up here. I'm not 100% sure on the reasoning behind this. Other than just to be able to put pressure on Moscow so that I couldn't go cheap on Moscow, I guess, maybe. But it's going to give me freedom down here with the fleet, right? Because these guys can't hit C-Zone 8 at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. So even if so they can't hit C-Zone 8. So that's cool. 1, 2, 3. They also won't be able to hit C-Zone 3. So that gives me some options with some leeway with my transports, right? So I'm not sure on that one. I probably would have seen if there's a better way to get his fighters in position, but still put pressure on Moscow. I'm not really looking into it too heavily, though. That being said, the big thing we're looking at is we should be able to defend on G7, obviously. We're going to be flying fighters in, and we're going to be moving UK infantry in, so we're not worried about the 3 infantry, 1 J tank that can attack. That's not as concerning. But at the same time, I'd like to keep 61 and 48 dead zoned if possible, which I can do with some buy here of fighters. Although I really would like to get some, keep an infantry going here too. So, because we're really low on ground for UK, at some point we got to start building ground, right? The good news is he did attack Persia, and with an infantry, a tank, and a bomber, where I had just the 2 infantry, and I had an infantry survive, and he lost the bomber, and that's big, because even if he built a tank, he's got 42 IPC banked right now, and G7, if he builds a tank here, puts a big tank stack, which would be questionable because I'm going to have some pressure on Karelia, light, but some pressure on Karelia, and built 3 bombers. I still have the potential to stop G7, and that's big because, again, you notice there's no ground through this line. So the only thing that he's going to be able to add to reinforcements, he will be able to build in Karelia, 2 units in Karelia this time, but is more tanks he builds in Berlin to put pressure on future rounds. So if we can hold this G8, he'll need to on G7 move down here, and then he'll be G8 be able to build here, and presumably G9 maybe. But if we keep pumping fighter builds and Russia keeps pumping 3 units out a turn, maybe we can squeeze this out just a little bit longer. I'm not sure. I'm not going to do the math that far out on a ranked game. So on a ranked game that I'm just learning with West Russia Jam. But so far, the defense of Moscow seems to be hitting about the same as a normal Russia start. So, okay. We do need to get this turning because I'm almost about to time out. So I am looking at buying 3 fighters and 2 infantry. Putting 3 fighters in India definitely helps me make sure that this is like a 91% dead zone. If I do 2 fighters there, it goes down like an 80% dead zone. But that at least let me put 1 infantry here. If I go down to 1, it gets down to like a 70%. And I could put 2 infantry here. Which one I want to do, I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. We'll figure that out. For now, let's lock in the purchase. Still mad at myself for forgetting Thailand. I'm not going to bother going forward here. I mean, I could, but I really kind of like holding on to this artillery for various reasons. So we're going to go ahead and grab him. We'll grab him. Let's see. So UK needs money the most if they're going to be able to participate down here and up here. So we're going to grab all these using UK to get as much dollars in the bank for UK as we can, because They need it. All right, what can we do with you? Anything useful? We could hit these single units. Not really useful. We could do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we want to try doing that this turn? If we're around? Let's think this through. If we do that. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's important. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's important that we'd still be able to reach 48 and 61. Our reach on 60-62 won't be as good, but we're not going to be able to dead zone 60-62 regardless this turn, so that's not that big of a deal. If we land down here, bomber 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. What about if we land here? Can we go there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fighters 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're going to go after Japan goes, and Japan's going to take that. So we don't want to land in Persia, because that would risk them to the G fighters, although the G fighters then would be risking themselves to the Russians, so that would be kind of risky for them. So maybe we do land there. But I don't know that there's any disadvantage to us landing down here. Other than the C-Zone 5 pressure, although we don't really need to worry too much about the C-Zone 5 pressure. We got enough going there. Yeah. I think we're going to take at least one shot on that, because I hate to have the bombers do absolutely nothing. We don't want to go up there, because then we're landing here. And it would be nice to clear that and not give any of this back and move the U.S. forward. So, yeah. Come on, double bomber hit. Or infantry hit. Okay. Bombers. All right. This was good that we sent the bombers to Egypt so that they could get some practice in, because they've been sitting still for a while and obviously forgot how to hit anything. And we're going to need them later, so it's a good thing that we sent this in for some practice. Good gracious, we could have had Egypt. But still, I'm happy with that result nonetheless. But come on. Bombers. Like I said, I think we're going to... Well... Japan definitely can't hit it. Germany can't blitz through. They could send their fighters, but they'd be landing their fighters in here. I don't think there's any real advantage here. We can still hit up there. I don't see anything. I don't see much benefit. Well, yeah, no, not a... Well, a little bit benefit. We'll send one that way. So the reason I'm doing this is now these fighters, 1, 2, 3, 4, they can go to Moscow, or they could hit here and land here, and the fighters I land can land on the... that I'm building can land on the carriers. It sure would be nice if that was green right now. I am not lying to you. We're not going up that way. pull them out to safety a little bit. These guys can hang tight. We don't gotta transport for them anyways. Alright, just gonna double check something real quick. Okay, yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Thinking, let me just double check. I don't want to be silly here. We got 4 infantry, 2 tanks. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I think. All right, there we go. Let's see, what's that give us money-wise? That gives us 49 for next time to spend. Because we got to build us a... At some point, I do think I'm going to build a factory here and let the U.S. be the main supplier of boats in here in the future. Because I do think India will fall. Unless I really start getting people pumping pretty quickly here. And it's going to take me a while because the Japan Navy is going to be annoying for a bit. Not much we can do about that, but they are going to be annoying for a little while. Yeah. We'll get a factory here. We'll have these two, and we'll be pumping out the 9 units for a while, but at some point I think we're going to need that DEI factory, even if it is UK splitting it. So, at some point I think we need to buy one there. And I can stop spending all these monies, but, you know, 4 more fighters I could buy next turn too for the fighter pump if it's working to get into Moscow and defend Moscow.